Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Now, before I start my editorial, let me start with an apology. An apology and a correction. Correction because yesterday when I spoke about GDP, I spoke about India's GDP as 854.7 billion US dollars. That was the last quarter, that is quarter through March of 21-22's GDP, the estimated GDP of India. The GDP of India through 21-22 estimated by IMF was 3,534.74 billion USDs. So that was the error that I had made yesterday. My apologies. And now let's get into the story at hand. Okay, now Hemant Soren, the Chief Minister of Jharkhand, won his confidence vote. Not no confidence vote, he won his confidence vote. Let's talk about confidence vote and let's talk about pulling down governments. Let's get right into the show. So a lot of drama happened in Jharkhand in the last couple of months. Lots of drama. Achha, how it all started is the Chief Minister of Jharkhand, Mr. Hemant Soren, was accused of allotting himself mining rights, mining lease for himself as an MLA. The Bharatiya Janata Party, the opposition party of Jharkhand, had accused him. And that actually warrants for the MLA to be disqualified. If he does something of this sort, the MLA is disqualified. Now, what happens if the MLA is disqualified? If the MLA is disqualified, the entire Jharkhand Mukti Morcha and government of Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, which includes Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, which includes NCP, which includes Indian National Congress, which includes RJD, which includes CPIM and CPIL, that is CPI Lenin. All these parties put together, this party formed the government. This government will fall because the Chief Minister is disqualified. That's the status. So, while this was happening, 3 Congress MLAs were caught in the neighboring West Bengal with cash. And it was accused that this cash was for defecting from the party and joining Bharatiya Janata Party, or defecting from the party and helping Bharatiya Janata Party to form the government. Now, this was the entire story. On this backdrop, Hemant Soren decided to go for a confidence vote. Now, just to give you some figures, there are 81 seats in Jharkhand Assembly, and the Soren government was formed, and I told you, with JMM and Congress and NCP and others. They had 48 seats out of the 81 seats. And Hemant Soren, incidentally, yesterday won his confidence vote by 26 seats. BJP walked out. BJP walked out of the assembly. Now, this was the case. Now, a couple of things that comes out of this entire election drama. Governments are elected by the people. Okay, so people go, they spend money, taxpayers' money is used, elections happen, people go out and vote, and this vote is collected, and finally a government is formed, and next day the government falls, and the government that, where you have money is traded, or powers are traded, or power is enforced, the enforcement agencies come and play their role, and then a new form of government is formed, which is by the will of the person who is the most powerful in that particular state. So the vote of a person, the vote of a common citizen, gone. No value. Absolutely no value. So finally, why are we voting then? Because aapas mein they will mutually decide who will be the chief minister, who will be the ministers, and all that they will decide. Now, you see, Jharkhand is not the first case. Before that was Maharashtra. Before that was Madhya Pradesh. Maharashtra, the Mahavikas Aghadi, which itself was wrong, because Actually, it was supposed to be Bharatiya Janata Party and Shiva Sena who fought the election together with a pre-poll alliance. Shiva Sena ditched Bharatiya Janata Party, went and joined Sharad Pawar's NCP and Congress and started Mahavikas Aghadi, ruled Maharashtra as Mahavikas Aghadi, which was again not really necessarily going by the people's verdict. And then came Bharatiya Janata Party who pulled down Mahavikas Aghadi with the help of some rebels from Shiva Sena with a lot of coaxing and a lot of other forces from a lot of other places and so on and so forth. We know all that. So they pulled down the government and they formed the government and now they are governing Maharashtra. Achha, by the way, technically now I have forgotten what exactly did the people of Maharashtra want. I am wondering what exactly did the people of Maharashtra want? Did the people of Maharashtra want BJP-Shiva Sena alliance? Did the people of Maharashtra want the Shiva Sena NCP Congress alliance? What did the people of Maharashtra want? Because that's the last thing that anybody talks about now, isn't it? And same is the case with Madhya Pradesh. Congress government was pulled out and BJP took over. Now, a lot of these people, Jharkhand, let's talk about Jharkhand. A lot of these people were corrupt. I mean, there is accusation that he gave himself mining rights. The chief minister, Mr. Hemant Soren, is it right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But then the fact is, you see, if every opposition comes under some kind of accusation, some kind of ED scanner, some kind of CBI scanner, and if every opposition leader is put behind bars and then, proved as corrupt, and only BJP comes and forms government across the country, what are we going to be? A single party democracy? While I am not saying, therefore, promote corrupt politicians, I am not saying promote corrupt political parties either. And it is indeed sad that the opposition parties in our country does not realize that even now getting into corruption, when they should realize that for them to survive, they need to serve the people and they need to curb corruption. They need to realize that, but somehow our opposition party doesn't seem to be realizing it. They didn't realize it in Maharashtra, where people like Anil Deshmukh is gone behind bars, and I don't know, Hemant Soren, there are accusations against him, and so on and so forth. There are accusations in Trinamool Congress, in West Bengal. There are accusations everywhere, minus the BJP governed states, of course. My problem is I'm a little confused. Under the garb of law, what you are killing is democracy. Technically speaking, law, you are saying corrupt hai, so arrest him, and then put my government there. My government is never corrupt. Karnataka government is never corrupt. Because there is no corruption and all that. Only corruption is opposition. What do I call that? Cleaning the corrupt or killing the democracy? That's a question. That's the thought I leave you tonight with. Think about it. And write about it. Write down in the comment box. Please tell me about it. I'll react to your comments. And if I find comments which are interesting, I would talk about it tomorrow. Please react to this. Because this is time. It's time that people, you and me, we need to get involved. We need to talk. We need to express ourselves. And that's precisely why HW was created in the first place. Talk to us. Before I end my editorial, I just want to make a small mention of KCR's new slogan, that is BJP-Mukt Bharat. Like BJP once upon a time spoke about Congress Mukt Bharat. Now the thing is, a lot of people now seem to be coming together. Nitish Kumar went and met Rahul Gandhi the other day. KCR is meeting every other leader. Sharad Pawar at one point in time had met a lot of leaders. Now he doesn't bother. He sits at home, so he says, forget it. Jo hona karo tum log. So that's where one end is happening. Mamata Banerjee also once upon a time was very excited going all over the country meeting leaders. Now she is also not doing anything. On the other hand, Kejriwal seems to be meeting a lot of leaders. And I want to talk a little about Kejriwal and Stalin's meeting, but I'll come to that. Kejriwal seems to be meeting a lot of leaders. So a lot of leaders are all coming together. They're all coming together to create this strong front against Bharatiya Janata Party, which is fine, which is good. Because like I always say, a country needs a good opposition, a strong opposition for democracy to survive. One end, you have the enforcement agencies and the central agencies that ensures that these key leaders are kept on their toes, and their parties are always in doldrums always. So that's one end of the story. The second end of the story is somewhere down the line, while meetings are happening, direction, strategy seems to be lacking. There is no clear strategy. Either Nitish Kumar is going on, or Arvind Kejriwal has taken, or Mamata Banerjee has taken, or Rahul Gandhi has taken, or anybody in this country has taken. There is no clear strategy. Meetings and all are going on. Now, a lot of experts may say that, "Theek hai yaar, it is 2022. What are you talking about? 23 baki hai, and then comes 24. So there's a long time." My question is there? Is there? Because if you have to fight a brand like Narendra Modi, and at that level of popularity, your leaders, your leadership, your brand that is going to finally combat with the juggernaut called Modi has to be very clearly defined, and that brand has to be now projected. You have to start projecting that brand. Because projecting that brand in 2024 may not be the solution, and it will be too late. This is my unsolicited advice. And I said I wanted to talk about Stalin and Arvind Kejriwal. Stalin had approached Arvind Kejriwal to know more about his schooling schemes, about the way he has developed schools in Delhi. And you know what? Stalin actually invited Arvind Kejriwal to Tamil Nadu to inaugurate some of the schools which he had built, inspired by the Delhi model. And that was a fantastic gesture, I thought. That was a fantastic gesture. It was apolitical. It was absolutely apolitical. But that gesture was good. And you know why I wanted to mention this is because Stalin is now doing that quite often. And it's good because it's good in this kind of mucky politics that's happening in our country. It's a breath of fresh air because there's some amount of civility. The same treatment, the same hospitality he had given the Prime Minister of India when the Prime Minister visited Tamil Nadu. Stalin, mind you, has a lot of ideological difference with the Prime Minister, ideological and political difference with the Prime Minister. Stalin has a lot of ideological difference with AAP too, that is Arvind Kejriwal too. But that was all kept aside, and these two gentlemen were given a warm welcome. That's good politics. That's it from me today. Till I see you, that's tomorrow at 10 p.m. Namaskar.